Consolidated Channel 18 welcomes you to the Sanford Sports Complex in Brevera Field on the campus of Dickinson State University, where today the DSU Blue Hawks host the Bismarck State College Mystics in a doubleheader in the Frontier Conference. I'm Alan Reed, along with our producer Trace Wells and our camera crew of Ron and Micah. Glad to have you with us. This game was originally, or this doubleheader was originally scheduled for tomorrow, but with the impending weather for the balance of the week, they moved it up, and it's a good thing. Sunny skies, but we're expecting clouds to move in. Wind is blowing straight out right now as the introductions of the two teams are going on. First of all, for Bismarck State College, their lineup will start off with Savannah Gustafson, who is the catcher. Leah Rowland will bat second, and she plays second base. Bree Rangham is at third base and will bat third. Jamison Langloise is the designated player, and she'll bat cleanup. She'll be followed by Jade Walter, the first baseman. Then comes Lexi Wesson, the right fielder. Mackenzie Answer in center field. Grace Grimm in left field. And Taylor Falcon at shortstop. And pitching today for Bismarck State is Kaya Kalzer. For Dickinson State University, they'll be led off by shortstop Stockton Stevenson. Second baseman Selena Wilhelm will bat second. Batting third is the designated player Brooke Lajewski. And batting cleanup is third baseman Kylie Hubby. The rest of the lineup looks like this. Octavia Meyer is at catcher, and she'll bat fifth. She'll be followed by Jaden Sable, who's at first base. Bailey Mitchell is batting seventh, and she's in left field. Ashley Potter is in right field, and she'll bat eighth. And Allie Farrington is in center field, and she'll bat ninth. And on the mound today for the Blue Hawks is Reagan King. Let's go ahead. Take a 90-second break as they play our national anthem, and we'll be back for the first pitch.
Are you ready for summer fun and adventure? Spend an exciting time at Badlands Ministries just south of Medora, where you'll grow in faith and have the time of your life. For over 90 years, Badlands Ministries has provided a safe place for people of all ages and denominations to experience Christ's love. Take a leap of faith and enjoy the many activities from ropes courses, fun Bible studies, crazy games, hiking, swimming, campfires, songs, skits, and more. Call or go to badlandsministries.org. See you at camp.
You have big dreams for your community. At Brevera, so do we. Giving back more than $1 million locally each year. It's something bigger than time and money. We give heart. Wearing bright yellow and lending a hand. It's not just giving back.
Watch your step.
It's building forward.
Nice and easy.
With local sponsorships and decision making, the impact is felt everywhere. It's who we are. Brevera. Let's forge ahead together.
Have you ever left home wondering if you locked the front door or closed the garage door? Did you forget to turn out the lights or lower the thermostat? Who's watching and protecting your home when you're away? Consolidated Home Security and Automation can take care of the little things so you don't have to. With 24/7 monitoring backed by local techs and support, Consolidated has you covered. Call 483-4000. Convenience, comfort, and control in one app. Total peace of mind.
Back at Brevera Field, the Blue Hawks are out in the field wearing their home white tops. Their numbers are very difficult to see today as they're just a blue outline against the backs of the white jerseys. So you'll forgive me as we poke our way through picking players up throughout the afternoon. Meanwhile, Bismarck State is wearing their road greens, and they'll be up to bat first in the top of the first. And again, Savannah Gustafson, the catcher, will lead off for the Mystics. She'll be followed by Leah Rowland and Bree Rangham. And if they get a runner on base, that most likely would be bringing up the cleanup hitter and the designated player, Jamison Langloise. Bismarck State 8-21 overall, 3-5 in the Frontier Conference. They're in solo 6th right now. As again on the mound for the Blue Hawks is Reagan King. And the first pitch is a strike. King gets the sign. And the windup. That's fouled back for strike 2. So Stevenson behind. 0-2. Starting things off for the Mystics. They're hitting .251 as a team. As Gustafson lets that pitch sail into the netting, as that was very high for ball 1. So 1-2 the count. As King winds up, and that's high again. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. King is the workhorse for the Blue Hawks, having thrown 77 innings so far. Back up the middle it goes, and that'll be a single for Gustafson.
Now batting for the Mystics, the second baseman, number 2, Leo Rowland.
So the Mystics with a base runner on. And that brings up Leo Rowland, the second baseman. Rowland comes into this doubleheader hitting .280 on the year. King delivers, popped up, left side. Can they get to it? No. Nice effort by Kylie Hubby at third base. Couldn't quite get it as she went into the net. But that will be strike 1. King delivers. Pop up down the third baseline. Who's going to get it? Hubby makes the catch. Runner goes to second and is going to be safe. As Hubby and Stevenson collided. So that'll be F6 or F5 and the first out for the Blue Hawks. But Gustafson, heads up move on her part, advances down to second base. First pitch is just outside to Rangham for ball 1. King again with a delivery. Line shot down the left field line. That's going to score a run as Rangham will go to second. And she's safe. So Gustafson scores on Rangham's sacrifice double, and just like that, it's 1-0. Mystics. As Rangham leads the team with a .371 average, and that brings up Langlois. And the first pitch is a ball. Langlois, a designated player, as King delivers. Pop up, right center, diving catch made by Farrington for out number 2. And that's going to allow Rangham to go ahead and advance to third. So sac fly there. 2 outs. And Jada Walter, the first base person, at the plate. And that's called strike 1. Walter batting .221 on 68 appearances. Grounder down to third. Throw by Hubby over to first to Sable. And that'll do it. So that's a 5-3 putout. And after 1/2 inning, Bismarck State won, and the Blue Hawks coming up to bat. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Banking is some of the most important things in your life, and banking at the right bank is very important. We're really proud of our bank because we have great people, and our people are what make our bank go. We always want to treat our customers right and do the best job we can for them, and try to do things to help make our communities better.
Back at Brevera Field, Bismarck State College collects 1 run in the top of the first. Takes the early lead as the Blue Hawks will come to the plate for the first time. Dickinson State, 16-12 overall, 4-4 in the conference. They're tied for 4th in the conference with Mayville State. As again, Kaya Kulzer on the mound for the Mystics. And Stockton Stevenson, the Blue Hawk shortstop, will start things off. She steps into the box, and we're ready to get underway in the bottom half of the first. She pulls back the bunt attempt for ball 1. Kulzer gets the sign. Here's the windup and the delivery. That's just inside for ball 2. 2-0 to Stockton. She's batting .370, has scored 29 runs. Here's the delivery. That's strike 1. So the count moves to 2-1 on Stockton Stevenson. Kulzer again gets her sign. And here's a delivery. Once again, that's low for ball 3. Stevenson starting things off for the Blue Hawks in the bottom of the first. Kulzer with the windup and the pitch. And that is just high enough for strike 2. So full count on the Blue Hawk shortstop as Kulzer gets the left corner for strike 3. So Stevenson goes down looking, and that'll bring up second baseman Selena Wilharm. Wilharm leading the Blue Hawks in hitting with a .375 average. Kulzer is indeed the workhorse for the Mystics, having thrown 49 innings so far, and her first pitch to Wilharm is a ball. Wilharm drives one past the shortstop, so that'll be a single for Wilharm. And the Blue Hawks have a runner on base with 1 down, as Brooke Lajewski, the designated player, steps up next. She's hitting .365 coming into this series. As Kulzer with the windup. Throw down to second is in time, as Wilharm tried to steal second. So that's 2 down for the Mystics, with the count 1-0 on Lajewski. Nice throw by Gustafson to throw out Wilharm at second. 2-0 the count on Lajewski. 2 down, bottom of the first. That's going to be ball 3. So Lajewski way ahead against Kulzer. We'll see if they give her the green light to swing. As Kulzer delivers, and Lajewski takes strike 1. As Lajewski is ready. Nubber past the shortstop. So she singles.
Now batting for your Blue Hawks, number 8, Kylie Hubby.
To bring up Kylie Hubby, the third baseman. So 2 hits now by the Blue Hawks. See if they can move Lajewski into scoring position as Hubby hits a grounder down to third. Throw over to first. Rangham to Walter. Easy 5-3 putout. So after 1 complete, Bismarck State with a 1-0 lead. We'll be back in 30 seconds for the top of the second.
Need a new car? Well, Dan is your man.
What do you mean I'm your man?
Well, you're the one that came up with the idea of free car washes for life.
That was a great idea. Look, here comes another one.
Da-da-da! Crime fighters to the rescue!
Buy any vehicle from Dan Porter Motors and enjoy free car washes for life.
Gonna need more bubbles.
Wait a second. Who's Bubbles?
Dan Porter Motors, baby approved, grown up guaranteed.
Back at Brevera Field, Bismarck State with a 1-0 lead as we head into the top of the second inning. Again, Reagan King on the mound for the Blue Hawks. She has a 5-4 record overall and a 2.72 ERA.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 10, Lexi Wesson.
As Lexi Wesson, the right fielder, leads things off for the Mystics. And she's batting .290. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Again, today's doubleheader was moved up a day because the forecast for the rest of the week is anything but desirable for outdoor activities, as that's a ball 2 to Wesson. Again, clouds are expected to move in. Most likely will be here by the time the second game starts. And that is ball 3 to Wesson, as King falls behind early here in the top of the second. Finally gets one across for strike 1. 3-1 the count. As King looks in and delivers, has fouled off for strike 2. King with 25 strikeouts on the year and just 13 walks, as she gets that one across for strike 3 as Wesson was looking. So that's the first strikeout
Now batting for the Mystics, number
for
4,
Reagan King.
Balancer.
And that'll bring up Mackenzie Yancer, the center fielder. Yancer hitting .276. Batting on the left side. Drive right between the first and second baseman. Single for Yancer. And the Mystics have a runner on base with 1 out as we're in the top of the second. And Grace Grimm, the left fielder, steps in to face Reagan King. King delivers, fouled back for strike 1. Grimm batting just 123 on 65 appearances. Again, the Mystics hitting .251 as a team overall. Little pop-up down the right side. Nobody can get to it. So that's strike two. One down. Mackenzie Answer, the center fielder, on first base after that line shot to right field. And here's the pitch. That's outside for ball one. One and two, the count to Grace Grimm. The answer on first base for the Mystics. And here's the delivery. Fly ball to left field. Mitchell with the catch. Throw comes into second, so 2 down for the Mystics. And that brings up the shortstop, Taylor Falcon. Falcon hitting .213 on the year. Answer still on first. She takes off for second. Throw down to second is going to be high and not in time. So Answer with the stolen base. And that puts herself in scoring position. We'll see what Falcon can do with the opportunity. And she hits one right up the middle. Single for Falcon. And that scores the Answer on the sacrifice single. So 2-0 for the Mystics. And we go back to the top of the order, and Savannah Gustafson, who singled to center in the top of the first, ultimately scored on Wrangham's double. As the delivery is just high enough and inside caught the right inside corner of the plate. So the count moves to 1-1 on Gustafson. Another ground shot up the middle. So that's twice that Gustafson has found center field. And that advances Falcon to second. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change, as that's going to do it for King. And Hope Foth comes in for the Blue Hawks. Foth with a 3.38 ERA. She's thrown 37 innings so far, but has managed to build a 5-1 record on the mound. So she's called in here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second to try to stem the tide here by the Mystics, who have 2 runners on, and the top of the order is at the plate again as Rowland will step in. She popped up to hubby in the first inning. But now Foth on the mound, and that unfortunately hits Rowland to load the bases.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 13, Brielle Wrangham.
So Wrangham, with the bases loaded, 2 down, and she doubled down the left field line in the top of the first. First pitch from Foth is for a strike. So Foth inherited 2 runners as she delivers here. Grounder to short. Play is made to third.
Ben's concessions are open. Please do your part in keeping the Sanford
So after 2 innings,
all trash in the garbage.
Bismarck State College with a 2-0 lead. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back. Back at Brevera Field, Hope Foth comes on in relief and gets Dickinson State University out of a jam. As Bismarck State College now leading 2-0 as we move to the bottom of the second. The Mystics with 3 hits, but left 3 people on base in the top of the second. They did score 1 run as Octavia Meyer, DSU's catcher, comes to the plate. And she takes strike 1. Kaya Kalzer on the mound for the Mystics. As Meyer waits for the delivery. That's low and inside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Leadoff batter in the bottom of the second. As Kalzer with the windup and the pitch. That's in there for strike 2. So Meyer falls behind 1-2 as Kalzer looks over to the dugout for the sign. Steps onto the rubber and delivers. Little blooper to left field. That's going to be caught by Grimm, however. So F7 and the first out for the Blue Hawks in the bottom of the second. As Jaden Sable, the first baseman, comes to the plate. Calls her again, looks at the sign. And the delivery in there for strike 1. Kalzer comes into this contest with a 6.57 ERA. As again, she delivers, and that's a swing and a miss for strike 2. So Jaden Sable behind in the count, 0-2 with 1 out in the bottom of the second. Pitch is outside for ball 1. Kalzer again with 49 innings pitched, giving up 32 walks. As she delivers, that's outside for ball 2. As Meyer hitting .302 on the year so far. Count is 2-2 with 1 out, bottom of the second. And the delivery, pop up, just gets out of the infield, and the catch is made by Answer for out number 2.
Now batting for your Blue Hawks.
So that'll bring up left fielder Bailey Mitchell. Mitchell hitting .214 on the year so far. And she'll step in on the left side of the plate and wait for Kalzer's delivery. And that's going to be low for ball one. Blue Hawks with 2 hits so far. They left one person on base in the first inning. Line shot into right center field. That's going to go all the way to the fence. And over to second base is Mitchell with a stand-up double.
Now batting for your Blue Hawks, number 33.
Solid swing there by Mitchell. As right fielder Ashley Potter comes to the plate for the Blue Hawks, who now have Mitchell in scoring position. 2 down. Potter with a .304 batting average so far on the season. Awaits the pitch from Kalzer. And that just catches the right side of the plate for strike one. A little bit of a breeze. Little left to right. Going out to right center as a failed bunt attempt goes foul. So that'll be strike 2 on Potter as she falls behind in the count. As Kalzer again looks at the sign and delivers. That's low for ball one. Potter with 14 hits on the season. 7 runs batted in. Nubs one down the third base line, and she beats out the throw. So that's an infield single for Potter. And that moves Mitchell over to third. Fantastic hustle by Potter, getting down the base paths. As Rangham couldn't get the throw over in time to Walter. So the Blue Hawks with runners on first and third, 2 outs, and center fielder Allie Farrington comes to the plate. She pulls back the bunt attempt, throw down to second is not in time. So Potter with the stolen base. And that now puts 2 runners in scoring position for Farrington, who's hitting .247 on the year. Pitch is on its way. And that's right at the knees for strike 1. So 1-1 the count on Farrington. 2 outs. Runners on second and third, bottom of the second. Here's the pitch. That's inside for ball 2. As we mentioned, Kalzer has given up 32 walks on the year so far. And she delivers. That's going to be low. So the count moves to 3-1. Mitchell on third, Potter at second. As Kalzer delivers. And Farrington takes for strike 2. So full count with 2 outs. Bottom of the second. See what Farrington can do here at the plate. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So unfortunately, the Blue Hawks leave 2 runners on base, and the score remains 2-0, Bismarck State College on top. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back for the top of the 3rd inning.
toys. DTE.
Looking for a
Back at Brevera Field, we move to the top of the third inning as senior Hope Foth came on in relief in the second and will face Jamison Langlois. First pitch is inside for ball one. Foth is a Dickinson High grad, has a 3.38 ERA, and as we mentioned earlier, does have a 5-1 overall record. And she delivers. That's fouled off for strike one. As Foth looks in and delivers again, and that's going to be for strike two. Langlois hitting .240 on the year as Foth gets her sign and delivers. Line shot down the left field. Nice hustle there by Mitchell for out number one.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 23, Jada Walter.
And that brings up first baseman Jada Walter, who was the victim of a 5-3 putout in the first inning. First pitch is a strike. Bottom of the second, or top of the third, excuse me. Bismarck stayed on top, 2-0. As Foth delivers again, that's going to be low for ball one. Walter hitting .221 on the year, has 6 RBI. And that pitch is at the knees for strike two. So Foth ahead in the count at 1-2 with one down. And she delivers. And that is going to be ball two. Foth has given up 28 hits on the year coming into this contest. Little nubber just over the head of the shortstop is going to fall in for a single. So Walter on base.
Number 10, Lexi Wesson.
And that's going to bring up right fielder Lexi Wesson. There's a pitch from Foth. Little pop-up. That's going to be easily handled by Meyer for out number two.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 4, Mac Yalzer.
So Mackenzie Yonser comes to the plate. She singled in the top of the second and ultimately scored. As Foth with the delivery catches the left side of the plate for strike one. Foth with 46 strikeouts already this year. That's low for ball one. Again, she's only worked 37 1/3 innings. As Foth again, that's fouled back by Yonser for strike two. So the count moves to 1-2 with 2 outs. Walter remains at first base. And Foth delivers. Little blooper to Hubby at third. for the third out. So 5 unassisted ends the inning. And after 2.5 complete, Bismarck State stays on top, leading 2-0. We'll take a 30-second break and be back for the bottom half of the inning.
Turnkey business with a proven track record? For over 50 years, our family has helped yours feel right at home with quality furniture, trusted brands, and a service that always came with a smile. Now it's time to pass the torch. Our family-owned furniture business is for sale, including all inventory, delivery trucks, and a loyal customer base. This is your solid opportunity to own a piece of history that is built on decades of care. Call 483-5108 and ask how you can own a piece of family tradition and keep the comfort going.
Back at Rivera Field, Blue Hawks will have the top of the lineup at the plate as Stockton Stevenson, the shortstop, will start things off. And Kaya Kalzer remains on the mound for the Mystics as she has a shutout going. And her first delivery is high for ball 1. Kalzer gets the sign and delivers. Drop down bunt. Stevenson hustling down first, and she's safe. So infield single for Stevenson. And that brings up Selena Wilharm. Wilharm also tries the bunt, and that goes foul for strike 1. Good speed by Stevenson to beat the throw at first, to get on base. And Wilharm at the plate. Slow grounder to the shortstop. Just in time is the throw over to get Stevenson out. So Wilharm advances on the fielder's choice. And Brooke Lajewski comes to the plate. She singled to left field in her first at bat in the top of the first. And we're going to have the base runner advance down to second as Wilharm with a stolen base. So runner now at second for the Blue Hawks. Pitches low and inside for ball 2 to Lajewski. 1 out. Kalzer gets the sign and delivers. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Lajewski hitting .365 on the year coming into this doubleheader today. She lines one in between first and second to right field. And that'll be a sacrifice single as Wilharm comes in for the first run for the Blue Hawks. As Kylie Hubby, third baseman, steps in. She takes ball 1 as that pitch was just a hair outside. Kalzer looks to the mound or dugout for the sign. and delivers. This time it's low for ball 2. Hubby was the victim of a 5-3 putout to close out the first inning. As Hubby lines one out to left field where Grimm makes a catch for out number 2. That ball just wouldn't drop, as that was a low, hard liner that Grimm was able to gauge and catch to make the second out for the Mystics. And that brings up Octavia Meyer, the Blue Hawk catcher. Meyer flew out to left in the top of the second in her first at bat. And she takes strike 1. But the Blue Hawks did get 1 run across the plate so far. Lajewski remains at first. Kulzer with the pitch. And that's strike 2. Working the lower part of the strike zone. As Meyer falls behind 0-2 with 2 outs. Kulzer delivers. That's going to be inside. And that's going to allow Lajewski to advance to second base. So once again, the Blue Hawks with a runner in scoring position. And Meyer is ahead in the count at 1-2. Or excuse me, behind in the count at 1-2. And she comes through with a grounder in between first and second. So Meyer with the hit. And that moves Lajewski over to third. So the Blue Hawks playing small ball here. And once again have runners at first and third with 2 outs. As Jaden Sable, the first baseman, comes to the plate. First pitch is a ball. As Kulzer eyes the plate and delivers. That's low for ball 2. So Sable ahead in the count, 2-0. Outfield playing medium depth. Infield at their normal depth. Pitch is low again for ball 3 to Sable. So Kulzer in danger of filling the bases with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. Sable awaits the delivery. And that catches the top side of the strike zone for strike 1. So 3-1 the count. Runners at first and second. 2 down. And that's going to be just outside for ball 4. So that loads the bases with 2 outs. And left fielder Bailey Mitchell will come to the plate. And that's going to bring out Bismarck State College pitching coach Maddie Zander to talk to Kulzer. Had an opportunity to visit with Zander before the start of the game. Asked her how big of a challenge it was to get things organized to move today's doubleheader up a day, and she said, other than the players having to adjust their class schedules, it wasn't too difficult. But that's something you always have to remember, is these are college students while also being athletes. as the students are getting ready to head into their Easter breaks here. But again, I think they'd rather be playing today than tomorrow. So bases loaded. For the Blue Hawks. And Bailey Mitchell at the plate. Takes strike one. Pitches high for ball one. Mitchell with a double to right center in her first at bat. Calls her, gets her sign, and delivers. That's popped up and out of play for a strike two. So Mitchell falls behind 1-2 with 2 outs. Bases are loaded for the Blue Hawks. Calls her with a delivery. That's going to be a pop-up down the right field line, and Walter is there to make the catch. So after 3 complete, the Blue Hawks add 1, make it 2-1. Bismarck State College on top. We'll move to the top of the 4th when we come back in 30 seconds.
At Infinity Real Estate Group, we go to great lengths to find the answers to most any questions our clients may have. We strive to do our best to personalize your buying or selling experience with firsthand knowledge.
I really love Dickinson. How is the weather here in North Dakota?
You know what? It's amazing. We can have all 4 seasons in 1 week. When it's time to choose the team to represent you with all your real estate needs, choose Infinity Real Estate Group. Experience the Infinity way. Infinity Real Estate Group.
Back at Rivera Field, Dickinson State University cuts the Bismarck State College lead in half as we head into the top of the 4th. The Mystics leading 2-1. As Selena Wilharm scored for the Blue Hawks in the bottom of the 3rd. And Grace Grimm will lead things off for the Mystics here in the top of the 4th. As Hope Foth is on the mound and delivers for strike 1. Foth again came on in relief in the 2nd inning, replacing Reagan King, who made the start today. That pitch is high for ball 1. Grimm flew out to left field in her first at bat. Little pop up, goes just over the second base and drops down for a single. So Grimm with her little blooper up the middle moves her to first base. And that brings up shortstop Taylor Falcon. Falcon thought about placing down the bunt, pulled it back, takes a pitch for strike 1. Foth with a delivery, popped straight up, coming in as Sable. She makes the catch. So that's 3 unassisted for the first out. And that'll move us back to the top of the order with Savannah Gustafson, the Mystics catcher. And the pitch is for strike 1. As Foth on the mound and delivers. That's high for ball 1. Gustafson 2 for 2 so far at the plate. Count is 1-1. That pitch is low. Gets away from Meyer, which allows Grimm to advance to second on the pass ball. So runner at second now for the Mystics. And Gustafson sees the count move to 2-2. And Foth with a delivery. That's fouled off. So the count remains at 2-2 with one out. Gustafson hitting .265 on the year. Coming into this doubleheader today. As Foth, that's going to be high for ball 3. So full count, one down. Grace Grimm now at second base. Foth with the pitch. Pop up to the shortstop Stevenson. She makes the catch for out number 2.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 2, Leo Rowland.
And that brings up Leah Rowland, who flew out to third base in her first at bat and then got on base after being hit by a Foth pitch in the third inning. And now takes ball 1 here. Foth with delivery, lined right up the middle again. And that's going to possibly score 1. Throw comes to home. Grimm is safe. And Rowland advances to second. And that makes it 3-1 Mystics with 2 outs. And Bree Rangham is at the plate. So Rowland at second. Pitch from Foth is outside for ball 1. Rangham again leading the Mystics at the plate with a .371 batting average. That one's also outside. So Foth falls behind 2-0 on the count. She delivers. That's high and outside for ball 3. Rangham with 18 RBI on the season coming into today's contest. And that's 4 straight balls from Foth.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 19, Jamison Langlois.
As Rangham makes her way down to first. And Jamison Langlois comes to the plate in the cleanup spot. She flew out to center and flew out to left. This time she pops it up to Wilharm for out number 3. So the Mystics do get one more to make it 3-1 as we move to the top of the 4th. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll be back.
As your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative, we wear many hats. We take pride in serving our members and our community by going the extra mile in everything we do. Because we not only work here, we live here.
Back at Rivera Field, the Blue Hawks again trail by 2 runs as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Bismarck State College with a 3-1 lead, as the 8 and 9 hitters will be up for the Blue Hawks. Then we'll go back to the top of the order, as Kaya Kulzer remains on the mound for the Mystics. She'll face Ashley Potter. First pitch is a ball. Again, Potter with a 304 average has 14 hits and 7 RBI coming into today's action. That's fouled straight back for strike one. Again, very nice afternoon. Light breeze coming out of the northeast as Potter lines one down on the ground into right center field. So she starts off with a single. And center fielder Allie Farrington comes to the plate with nobody down. Farrington singled in her first at bat in the bottom of the second. Looked for the bunt. Still waiting. It was called a strike. As Potter got back in time at first base. So 0-1 the count to Allie Farrington. Kulzer with her delivery. Farrington with the bunt. Kulzer can't handle it. So that's going to be an error on Kulzer. And that puts runners at first and second. And we move back to the top of the order with no outs. And shortstop Stockton Stevenson. The left-handed hitting Stevenson awaits the pitch from Kulzer. Kulzer comes across with strike one. So Potter at second, Farrington at first, reaching on the air by Kulzer. Stevenson lays down the bunt. Throw over to first is in time as Rangham came in. Got it over to Walter. But sacrifice bunt by Stevenson moves the runners up a base. As Potter is now at third and Farrington is at second with one down. And that'll bring up Selena Wilharm. First pitch from Kulzer is low for a ball. Kulzer reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning and ultimately scored. This time, nice line drive into left center field. Throw comes into second, and with a stand-up double is Selena Wilharm. And she scores Potter and Farrington. And just like that, the game is tied up at 3 apiece. So a nice line shot to left center by Wilharm. And head coach Brady Duchuk comes to home plate. It looks like we'll probably have a pitching change for the Mystics. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll find out who's coming onto the mound for Bismarck State College after we come back.
The Hub in North Dickinson is more than your ordinary convenience store. From Godfather's Pizza and the Hub Cafe to gourmet coffee, tea, and more. Stop by early for breakfast or grab something to go. We carry a variety of donuts that we make fresh every day. If your vehicle is dirty, we now have a state-of-the-art car wash at both locations. Stop in and see what we have to offer at the Hub located on North Highway 22 or the Hub West Dakota Oil on East Villard in Dickinson. We're changing the way people think about the convenience store industry.
So Bismarck State College is making a pitching change and brings on Catherine Slyman in relief of Kaya Kalzer after Selena Wilharm line shot double to left center field. Scores Ashley Potter and Allie Farrington to tie things up at 3 apiece. Slyman comes into today's action with a 5.40 ERA. She's thrown 45 in a third inning so far and has a 4-7 overall record. She's given up 60 hits, allowed 40 runs, has given up 22 walks, but has collected 26 strikeouts. So again, Slyman comes on with 1 down in the bottom of the 4th as Brooke Lajewski steps to the plate. She's a perfect 2 for 2. 2 singles on the afternoon. First pitch is low for ball 1. As Wilharm again is at second. Slyman with a delivery. That's low for ball 2. Now we got a run down at third. And the throw and the tag are good. As Wilharm got caught halfway down in between the third and second base and is thrown out. As the pitch from Slyman goes to deep left center field and over the fence by Brooke Lajewski. So a home run by Lajewski puts the Blue Hawks on top 4-3. As the replay shows that blast deep over the left field fence. And Lajewski gives the Blue Hawks their first lead of the afternoon at 4-3. As Kylie Hubby steps in and takes strike 1. Hubby flew out to left field in her last at bat. Pitch is outside from Slyman for ball 1. Slyman gets her sign. Wind up and delivery. Popped up into right field, and Wesson is there for the putout, but not before. Dickinson State scores 3 runs and takes the lead 4-3 as we move to the top half of the 5th. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back.
Saving money feels impossible when you're young, but Western Cooperative Credit Union is here to help. Our CU Succeed program gives you monthly interest payments, free checking, easy and secure online banking, and a 1% discount on a one-time loan. Plus, earn cash for being on the honor roll with our Good Grades program. Get started today at wccu.org, Western Cooperative Credit Union. Join the herd. Visit us today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Back at Brevera Field, the Dickinson State University Blue Hawks continue to show their ability to rally at home and now lead 4-3 as we head to the top of the fifth. Last time we were here, the Blue Hawks trailed Providence 9-0 and then came back to win 11-10 in what was just an outstanding comeback by the Blue Hawks to wrap up that weekend series with Providence. The two teams split 4 games. As there's conversations with the home plate umpire. As again we move to the top of the fifth with Jada Walter, the first baseman, will lead things off for the Mystics. And Hope Foth continues at the mound for the Blue Hawks.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 23, Jada Walter.
So again, the Hawks with 1 run in the bottom of the third and 3 runs in the bottom of the fourth now lead 4-3 as Walter takes the first pitch for ball 1. Foth delivers, catches the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Count 1-1. As Foth with her trademark high windup delivers low for ball 2. Walter singled in her last at bat. As Foth again at the knees for strike 2. So the count moves to 2-2. Walter, first batter up for the Mystics in the top of the fifth. Foth delivers. That's going to be low for ball 3. So Foth with the full count. And the delivery swung back and missed. So the count remains full. Foth has given up 22 walks so far coming into today's action. Little blooper down the third baseline is going to be pulled in by Kylie Hubby. For the first out.
For the Mystics, number 10, Lexi Wesson.
As Lexi Wesson, the right fielder, is next in line for the Mystics, who now have 1 out. As Hope Foth with the delivery. Little blooper down the left field line is going to go foul. That could have been big time trouble if it dropped in. So 0-1 to Wesson. And she takes strike 2. She flew out, popped up to Meyer in her last at bat. Swing and a miss, but Meyer couldn't handle the catch. So it's 0-2. Called it a foul tip. So 0-2 to Wesson. 1 out. Foth delivers. Grounder over to short to Stevenson. Throw to first is in time. Good hustle by Weston to get down the base paths, but Stevenson was able to get it over to Sable just in time for out number 2. And that brings up Mackenzie Yancer, the center fielder, with 2 outs. Ground over to second. Wilharm with the easy toss over to Sable. So a 1-2-3 inning for Hope Foth. And the score remains at 4-3. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back for the bottom of the 5th inning.
West Dakota Oil and Fitterer Oil Company proudly offers products and services that help fuel our customers' lives with clean-burning propane and bulk fuel and convenient on-site delivery with premium farm and road fuels. We provide energy where and when you need it most, with locations throughout southwest North Dakota. West Dakota Oil and Fitterer Oil Company. Locally owned, locally strong. The products you need with the service you deserve.
Are you
back at Brevera Field? Blue Hawk pitcher Hope Foth gets the first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon to keep the score at 4-3 with the Hawks on top as we enter the bottom of the 5th inning with catcher Octavia Meyer coming to the plate. She singled to right field in her last at bat. Again, Catherine Slyman now on the mound for the Mystics in relief of Kaya Kulzer. Pitch is on the way, drived up the middle. So Meyer again gets on base with a solid single. And that brings up first baseman Jaden Sable. She drew a walk in her last at bat. And steps in to the left side of the plate. Slyman looks in and delivers. Pop up. Goes back and over the screen for strike 1. Sable again hitting .297 so far on the season coming into today's action. As the Mystics can get their sign from the dugout. And Slyman with a delivery that's low for ball 1. So 1-1 the count to Sable. Meyer on first after her hard single to right. Drop down bunt. Throw over to first is going to be in time, but it moves the runner over. So sack bunt for Sable. And that brings up left fielder Bailey Mitchell. Now with a runner in scoring position and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Mitchell flew out to first base in her last at-bat, but doubled in her first at-bat. So she's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. First pitch is a ball. Meyer on second for the Blue Hawks. Slyman delivers. Right at the knees for strike 1. Still a nice afternoon out there for the players. Again, this doubleheader was moved up a day because of the weather expected overnight tonight. As Slyman again with the pitch. pop up to second, and Roland. And that'll be for out number 2.
Now batting for the Blue Hawks, number 33, Ashley Potter.
So Ashley Potter comes in after a single to right in her last at bat, and she ultimately scored on the home run by Lajewski. 2 outs. Meyer still at second. First pitch is a ball to Potter as Slyman gets her sign and delivers. That's low for ball 2. Potter ahead in the count, 2-0 with 2 outs. Octavia Meyer at second base. Slyman with a delivery. Catches the top part of the zone for strike 1. Potter with 7 RBI on the season. Coming into today's action. Swing and a miss for strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Octavia Meyer on second base. As Slyman delivers. Little line drive past the third baseman. Throw coming to home. That's not going to be in time. So Meyer scores all the way from second. Potter moves to second base. Double for her. And the Blue Hawks now lead 5-3. With 2 down in the bottom of the 5th. And center fielder Allie Farrington at the plate. She got on base on an error in her last at bat. First pitch is a swing and a miss for strike 1. So Potter now at second. As Farrington grounds it down to first. And that'll be for the 3rd out. But not before the Blue Hawks add 1 more run to now lead 5-3 as we go to the top half of the 6th. Let's take a 30-second break and we'll be back.
Are you ready for summer fun and adventure? Spend an exciting time at Badlands Ministries just south of Medora, where you'll grow in faith and have the time of your life. For over 90 years, Badlands Ministries has provided a safe place for people of all ages and denominations to experience Christ's love. Take a leap of faith and enjoy the many activities from ropes courses, fun Bible studies, crazy games, hiking, swimming, campfires, songs, skits, and more. Call or go to badlandsministries.org. See you at camp.
Back at the Sanford Sports Complex on the campus of Dickinson State University, we're at Brevera Field. I'm Alan Reed, along with our production crew of Trace, Ron, and Micah. Glad to have you with us on this very pleasant Monday afternoon. Again, this doubleheader was moved up to avoid the weather. It was originally scheduled for tomorrow. As Hope Foth remains on the mound for the Blue Hawks. And Grace Grimm will start things off for the Mystics. Foth with a delivery that's high for ball 1. Grimm singled to center in her last at bat. That one's in there for strike 1. So 1-1 to count. As Foth delivers, and that's lined down into the fence on the left field side for strike 2. Grimm coming into the series batting 123. As Foth delivers, swing and a miss for strike 3. So that's the first strikeout for Foth. And the first out of the inning. As shortstop Taylor Falcon comes in for the Mystics, who now trail 5-3. Foth. There's question as to whether that hit the hand or the end of the bat, and I think the umpire originally said the end of the bat. And that is the call. So that'll be they're calling that a ball. Next pitch is a strike. So the count is 1-1 with 1 out. As Foth delivers, that's fouled right over us for strike 2. So Taylor Falcon falls behind 1-2 with 1 out. As Foth delivers, grounder over to third. Hubby needs to hurry, doesn't make the throw in time. That's going to end up being an error. That'll be E5. So the first error by the Blue Hawks today moves us back to the top of the order with 1 out, and Savannah Gustafson steps in. Little number over to second. They go to second. Throw is in time as Wilharm quickly got the ball over to Stevenson. So 4-6 put out for the second out. And Leah Rowland steps in. And Falcon remains at first. Foth with delivery, and that again hits the bat. And is called for ball 1. Next pitch from Foth is low for ball 2. So Foth falls behind 2-0 with 2 outs. Her delivery, swing and a miss for strike 1 to Leah Rowland. As Taylor Falcon remains at first. So 1-2 the count. Swing and a miss, 2-2. So 2-2 is the count, 2 outs. Runner on first. That's fouled back by Rowland. So she keeps her bat alive. Rowland hitting .280 on the season coming into today's action. 23 hits so far this year. Pitch is low. Throw to second is not in time. As Falcon with the stolen base gets to second. So we got a full count. 2 outs. Falcon now at second base for the Mystics. Little pop-up down the left field side. Hubby tried to hustle over there, but just couldn't get there in time. So the count remains at 3-2. with the delivery. Line shot down the third baseline. Throw coming to home is not going to be in time. So Rowland with the double scores Falcon from second. And that makes it 5-4. So 2 out. Bree Rangham is at the batter's box, working from the left side of the plate. And Foth's first pitch is for a ball. This is outside for ball 2. Again, Rangham leading the Mystics in hitting with 371, so Foth being awfully careful. She goes outside to the right side again for ball 3. This is exactly what she did with her in her last at bat. 4 straight balls. Foth again. And Rangham will get another walk to put runners at first and second with 2 outs for the Mystics. As Jamison Langlois, the designated player, walks down the third baseline to have a conversation with head coach Brady Duchuk. And Rowland and Rangham come on over to join the conversation. An opportunity here to see the Mystics score some runs as we're in the top of the 6th. Hope Foth has had a consistent performance on the mound so far. As Langlois swings and misses for strike 1. She popped up to Wilharm in her last at bat. As Foth delivers again. Pop up down the first base side. Sable with the catch for out number 3. But not before the Mystics get 1 run. But the Blue Hawks still lead 5-4 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back.
You have big dreams for your community. At Rivera, so do we. Giving back more than $1 million locally each year. It's something bigger than time and money. We give heart. Wearing bright yellow and lending a hand. It's not just giving back.
Watch your step.
It's building forward.
Nice and easy.
With local sponsorships and decision-making, the impact is felt everywhere. It's who we are. Bravera. Let's forge ahead together.
Back at Bravera Field, Dickinson State University Blue Hawks with a 5-4 advantage. As we move to the bottom of the 6th, and we're at the top of the order with so she'll move down to first base on a hit by pitch.
For the Blue Hawks, number 2, Selena Wilhawk.
And that brings up Selena Wilharm, the second baseman. As Slyman gets her sign and delivers for strike one. So the count is 0-1. As Slyman again with a delivery that's outside for ball one. So Stockton Stevenson at first base after being hit by a Slyman pitch. Wilharm with the count at 1-1 and no outs. Slyman delivers. That's fouled straight back for strike two. Wilharm doubled in her last at bat. Swing right up the middle. Line shot to center field. So a single for Wilharm. And that moves Stockton to second. With nobody down here in the bottom of the sixth inning. And Brooke Lajewski, who had the 3-run homer in her last at bat, as Mandy Zander, the Mystics assistant coach, comes out to the mound. The Blue Hawks with 2 runners on after Stockton Stevenson went down to first, being hit by a Slyman pitch. And now Wilharm with the solid single out to center field. And Slyman remains on the mound for the Mystics. So Lajewski will step in with 1 runner in scoring position and nobody out, with the Hawks leading 5-4. First pitch from Slyman is low and outside for ball one. Slyman steps onto the mound and delivers. Line shot right of the right field line, drops in as a foul ball for the first strike to Lajewski. So the count moves to 1-1. Again, Stockton Stevenson at first, at second, Selena Wilharm at first. As the wind's starting to pick up a little bit. Pitch is outside for ball two. Flags starting to move from left to right a little bit out there in left field. As the pitch from Slyman is drived over the head of Roland, goes all the way to the wall, and that'll bring in 2 runs for the Blue Hawks. As Lajewski with the double.
For the Blue Hawks, the third baseman, number 8, Kylie Hubby.
And that makes it 7-4. As we have a pinch runner come in for Lajewski, but we cannot make out the number due to the light numbering on the uniforms of the Blue Hawks.
Running for the Blue Hawks, number 31, Izzy Kelly.
Okay. Izzy Kelly in to run for Lajewski. As Kylie Hubby comes to the plate with nobody out. And the first pitch from Slyman is a ball. Hubby popped up to first in her last at bat. As this time pop up into left field. It's caught by Grimm for out number 1.
Now batting for the Blue Hawks, number 17, Octavia Meyer.
So that'll bring up Octavia Meyer, the catcher. She's 2 for 3 on the afternoon, 2 singles. As the first pitch from Slyman is low for ball 1. So Kelly is on second base, pinch running for Lajewski. Shot into left center field is going to go to the fence again, as Kelly will score from second. And Meyer is in with a stand-up double. So that's 3 runs for the Hawks here in the bottom of the 6th. And the score moves to 8-4. Some excellent hitting by DSU here late in the game, as Jaden Sable, first baseman, comes to the plate. She lined that one hard, but it's foul down the left field line. For strike 1. So 1 out. Meyer at second base. Blue Hawks now up 8-4. Pitch catches the lower right corner of the plate for strike 2. So Sable falls behind 0-2. And Slyman looks in and delivers just outside for ball 1. Again, Meyer hitting .302 coming into today's action. And she lines that one to center field. It goes over the head of the center fielder. She'll go into second. And that'll bring home Meyer. So yet another double for the Blue Hawks, as the Mystic outfield has been playing medium depth for most of the game. Makes the score 9-4. And we're going to have another pinch runner, as Bailey Mitchell. So that's Jersey Morse pinch running from second base. And Bailey Mitchell, the left fielder, comes to the plate with 1 out. She popped up to second in her last at bat. As the Mystics wait for the signal from the dugout. And Slyman's now ready. First pitch to Mitchell is a strike. One down. Blue Hawks now leading 9-4. Bottom of the 6th. Slyman delivers. Again, catches the right side for strike 2. So Mitchell behind 0-2 with 1 out. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So 2 down now for the Blue Hawks. And Ashley Potter at the plate takes ball 1. as Jersey Morse pitch running for Sable at second. That pitch from Slyman is outside for ball 2. Eighth batter of the inning for the Blue Hawks. Slyman falls behind 2-0. That's fouled back for strike 1. Two outs as Potter steps back in on the left side of the plate and waits the delivery from Slyman. A little pop-up down the right side, drops in for strike 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on second for the Blue Hawks. As Slyman with a delivery to Potter. Pop up. It's going to be called by Walter for the 3rd out. But again, the Blue Hawks bring 4 more runs across and now lead 9-4 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back.
Do you think Benny Paulson from Breaking 8 has only played 1 gig?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to my first gig. After this concert, I'm retiring.
Of course not. Whether you're in a band playing multiple gigs a week or a family running multiple devices in your house, you need the speed and reliability to keep up. Multi-gig speeds with no lag, no buffering, always running at maximum volume. Feel like a rock star and call Consolidated for the multi-gig speed you need.
Back at Brevera Field, we move to the top half of the 7th inning. And the Mystics trail 9-4 as Hope Foth remains on the mound for the Blue Hawks. And first baseman Jada Walter comes to the plate. Foth delivers for strike 1. Walter popped up to third base in her last at bat. She's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. As pitch is ball 1 as the count moves to 1-1. Foth delivers. Little pop-up down the third base line. Hubby with a nice dive. Great effort, but couldn't quite get to it for strike number 2. So 1-2 the count to the leadoff hitter, Jada Walter, in the top of the 7th. As Hope Foth with a delivery. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So 1 down for the Mystics as right fielder Lexi Wesson comes to the plate. She's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Infielders move in on the corners as she slaps one just left of the third base line for strike number 1. Wesson, in her last at bat, 6-3 put out. As Foth again, that's high for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lexi Wesson. 1 down, top of the 7th inning. Line shot down the left field. Line is out of here by Lexi Wesson. As that solo homer just stayed in the foul pole to give the Mystics some hope as the score moves to 9-5. As Mackenzie Yonser, center fielder, now steps in to the right side of the plate with one down. First pitch from Foth is a ball. Foth again delivers. That's high and outside for ball 2. So Foth falls behind in the count. This one's swung and up down the third baseline for strike 1. So 2-1 the count, 1 out. As the answer steps back into the box, the lefty awaits the pitch from Foth. And that's called strike 2. At the knees on the left side of the plate. So it's 2-2 with 1 out. That pitch is a little bit too low. Same location as the count moves to 3-2. Foth double checks her sign and delivers. Little pop up to short, and Stevenson for easy out number 2.
Now batting for the Mystics, number 22, Grace Grimm.
So that'll bring up Grace Grimm, the left fielder. She struck out in her last at bat. She's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Foth delivers. Line shot to right field. That's pulled in by Potter. So that's going to do it. Dickinson State University comes away with a 9-5 victory. Let's take a 2-minute break and we'll come back and review the scoring summary for the first ball game of this doubleheader.
The dictionary defines community as a group of people living in the same place or sharing common goals. Community is the largest part of our name, and we make it the largest part of our business. We support our local schools, organizations, youth programs, and local events from Bowman to Bismarck because we all share a common goal to better the quality of life in our communities. Come bank with us at Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your real community bank.
Need a new car? Well, Dan is your man.
What do you mean I'm your man?
Well, you're the one that came up with the idea of free car washes for life.
That was a great idea. Look, here comes another one.
Da-da-da! Crime fighters to the rescue!
Buy any vehicle from Dan Porter Motors and enjoy free car washes for life.
Gonna need more bubbles.
Wait a second. Who's Bubbles?
Dan Porter Motors, baby approved, grown up guaranteed.
So back at Brevera Field, Dickinson State University rallies to take a 9-5 victory in the opener of this doubleheader with Bismarck State College. The Mystics scored a run apiece in the first and second innings to take a 2-0 lead. The Blue Hawks scored their first run in the bottom of the third The Mystics added one more run in the top of the fourth. But then the Dickinson State bats started to warm up in the bottom of the third. They actually took their first lead of the game with 3 runs. They tallied one more in the fifth and then really blew things open in the bottom of the fourth with 4 more. So again, the Blue Hawks, a 9-5 winner over Bismarck State. The Hawks with 16 hits, and they left 9 runners on base. The Mystics had 10 hits and also left 9 runners on base. Hope Foth will collect the win for the Blue Hawks as her record now moves to 6-1 overall on the season, as she came in the second inning to relieve Reagan King. So again, first game is in the books. The Hawks with a 9-5 victory. We're about 15 minutes away from the start of the second game of this doubleheader. So we'll take a break and we'll come back in about 12 minutes.